Premier Planet, it's your favorite MC, JB, Justin Barlow, coming at you live from inside the Premier Studio here in Woodstock, Illinois. And if you weren't with us here this evening, you missed an incredible night of action. Thank you to those of you who came out to support us here tonight. Here's what you missed if you weren't here in the Premier Studio. We start off the evening with USA Ulysses S. Adams taking on 0-1, who unexpectedly was accompanied to the ring by 0-3. Normally these guys don't accompany each other, but tonight we saw pretty quickly why. Both were dressed identically, and as the match went on, both of them flip-flopped inside and outside of the ring, kind of tagging in and out, turning this into more of a handicap match underneath the referee's nose. It looked like Ulysses S. Adams was going to be out and down for it. He starts coming back with an offense, and the Zeros took that point to say, well, heck, to hell with the rules. We're just going to go for it. We're going to beat this guy down, make an example of it. They get themselves disqualified by both jumping on Adams, and that's when the referee calls for the disqualification. These two are wailing on Adams in the middle of the ring, and that's when PPW's favorite guard dog, Irish Andy Anderson, comes down. The Zeros bail. Who could blame them? Andy goes over, checks on Adams, and that's when he grabs yours truly in a not-so-friendly manner, pins me into the corner, and through my own interpretation, I mean, I speak very little Andy, but I think I caught on to what he was saying. He wanted a match, a tag team match, pitting him and Ulysses S. Adams against 0-1 and 0-3, and he wanted it immediately. Premier CEO Randy Ritchie comes out and said, you know what, we're going to wait a week for that, but Andy, if you want that tag match, you've got it, and it's on for next week. Andy Anderson teams with Ulysses S. Adams to take on the team of 0-1 and 0-3, and hopefully Adams can get some retribution for tonight. But in the meantime, the Science Marcus Smith is hearing all this from the back. He comes out and says, whoa, Andy, what are you doing? In a not as nice fashion, mind you. He basically berates Andy for getting himself into another tag team match next week. It's supposed to be Andy and Marcus in the World Tag Team Title Tournament. Marcus is furious because he feels like Andy competing twice in the same night is going to lessen their chances of moving forward in the tournament. Andy Anderson finally has enough of Marcus's crap. He starts wailing on him. Marcus bails. Marcus says, I'm out of here. Andy once again puts me into the corner. I didn't really have, I had kind of a rough night tonight. He puts me into the corner, and what I got from it was that he wanted a match with Marcus Smith. Now Marcus was hesitant at first. Eventually he accepted, and the two squared off right in the middle of the ring right then and there. Now instead of getting some retribution on Marcus trying to treat him like, for lack of a better term, a dog, Andy and Marcus found themselves both on the outside. The referee counts to 10. It's a double count out. Marcus tried to get out of dodge. Andy followed him. Double count out. But next week, it was the decision of the Premier CEO, Randy Ritchie, that these two are going to face off again. This time, there's not going to be any way for Marcus to weasel out of it, to use Randy's terminology, because these two are going to go at it in a lumberjack match before teaming up later on in the World Tag Team Championship Tournament. And don't forget too, Andy Anderson's going to team up with Ulysses S. Adams to take on Ninja 0-1 and 0-3. So Andy, long weekend in store for him next week, but knowing Andy, he is going to be ready for all three fights next week. After that, we saw the #1 contendership put on the line. It was Iniestra and Matt Vine, who both came so close to seizing the World Heavyweight Championship from the champ Scott Colton in recent weeks. These guys squared off to once again reach the main event, and it ended up Iniestra was able to roll up Matt Vine, get the 1, 2, 3, and become the #1 contender. But Matt Vine was just left in a puddle of his own frustration. He grabs the mic, and he's livid. He's venting every single one of his frustrations. Premier CEO Randy Ritchie comes out again and says, you know what, if you want a rematch, Vine, you've got it, as long as Iniestra agrees. Well, Iniestra agreed. He's never one to shy away from competition. He's going to put his #1 contendership on the line against Vine in a rematch next week. But that's when Randy dropped the bomb on these two, because in order for that rematch to take place, these two are going to have to team up before they split off and face each other. They're going to have to team up in the World Tag Team Championship Tournament to face the equally odd couple of Marcus Smith and Andy Anderson. Iniestra was supposed to team with Ronnie Metro, who, as you saw, is healing pretty quickly, but is still on the shelf. So Vine is going to take Ronnie's place in the tournament, and he and Iniestra are going to team up, and then they're going to go at it for the #1 contendership next week. Following all that, we had the Executioner, 342-pounder from parts unknown. We don't even know where this guy came from, taking on the Urban Rebellion, Cutter Crosby. Cutter giving up well over 100 pounds in this one. But experience and agility caused Cutter to carry the day. The Executioner looked like he was underestimating his competition a little bit. Took a little bit too much time on some of those big moves that he likes to use. The big splash, big elbow. Cutter is able to get out of the way, use the Executioner's own weight and momentum against him. Cutter rolls the big guy up for the 1, 2, 3, and the Urban Rebellion walks out with a victory here tonight. And then it was time for our main event. Chase Gosling, who won the #1 contendership last week over Iniestra, facing off against the human video game Scott Colton, who last week retained the title via disqualification. Matt Vine won the match, but Colton remained the champion. These two guys, every time these guys get in the ring, they know each other so well from having competed so many times before. This rivalry is still so hot here in PPW. Each one of these guys had to pull out some unique maneuvers in order to catch the other guy off guard. At the end, there was a little bit of confusion. Both guys were down on the mat. The referee counted 1, 2, 3. Chase, thinking that he's won, grabs the belt. He's up in the corner celebrating, but that's when the referee told me to make the announcement that it was actually Chase who had been counted down, and Scott Colton had won the match and is still your PPW World Heavyweight Champion. But Chase, just the complete lack of sportsmanship. He waits for the referee and myself to leave ringside, and he completely and utterly assaults Colton. He's beating on him. He even splashes him, 270-pound splash right on top of Colton, right in the middle of the ring. Once Chase had finally left ringside, Colton gets back to his feet, and he is steam, almost shooting out of his ears. He was that red, and he demanded a match with Chase next week, a rematch, because he not only now is it about the World Heavyweight Championship, now for Colton, it's about revenge as well. Don't forget, folks, we are here each and every Saturday night. We are creeping right on up to our 100th studio taping. You're going to want to mark your calendars for that one. It's going to be Saturday night, July the 16th. Excuse me for a second, my mind went blank there. July the 16th is our 100th taping. We're creeping right towards it, but you are not going to want to miss a single minute of the action leading up to it. So again, next week, World Tag Team Championship Tournament action, a lumberjack match, and the rematch, Scott Colton and Chase Gosling for the PPW World Heavyweight Championship. Bring your family, bring your friends. My name is Justin Barlow, and we'll see you there.